At The Cable, we believe in giving back because when our community thrives, we all do. That's why, as a company, we make it our mission to touch the lives of everyone in St. Kitts. We spearheaded the renovation of JNF Hospital lobby to ensure better care for all. The Cable sponsors free Wi-Fi in every community center across St. Kitts, so no one is left behind in an increasingly connected world. We stand with communities through every moment, big or small, in culture, education, youth development, and more. Y a ti también, comunidad latina. Cuenta con nosotros. Estamos con ustedes. And when it comes to customer service, we set the standard. We're just a call, click, or visit away because you matter to us. Join the company that truly cares. The Cable, more than service. We're family. Somos familia. And we're proud to always give more where it matters.
The specials at Domino's are hot for any occasion. Hot right out of the oven. 1 medium, 2 topping pizza, and 2 20-ounce Cokes, only $35. Free Coke with your lunch until 2 p.m. Small, 1 topping school child lunch special, only $14. 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $69. 2 large, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $92. Oh, and the big one, baby. Free large pizza every Tuesday with your favorite 2 for Tuesday special. So, come on down or call and order now and experience our tasty oven-baked goodness. Domino's, the home of satisfaction.
For hot and wild, call Domino.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. 1 solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
The views and opinions expressed by participants and callers during this program are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its management, or sponsors. The station accepts no responsibility for statements made. Today is Thursday, June 19th, 2025, and you're listening to ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. It's just about 5 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. When we open the phone lines later, you may call us at 465-1977 or 1903 or at 662-8674. That is 662-8674. You are listening to The Edge, and thank you for tuning in, joining me in the program for today. Let me greet those of you who are listening from other parts of the world. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This conversation is being carried live via our social media platforms. Check us out on our YouTube channel at ZIZ Online, and via Facebook at ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation. And of course, we are on Channel 5 on TV. But again, thank you so much for joining the conversation for today. Later on, of course, I want to hear from you, the listeners, is on your mind. And so it's going to be more of an open discussion for today. But I want to share with you some matters of national importance, things that I think that are of interest to you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Region of St. Kitts and Nevis has won the HSP's Best New Passport Award. The Ministry of National Security, Citizenship and Immigration is pleased to announce that St. Kitts and Nevis has won the Best New Passport Award for 2025, the Regional ID Document of the Year category at the High Security Printing, or HSP, Latin America Conference. And the award was last week in Brazil. HSP Latin America is an annual international conference with a regional focus on emerging technologies related to government-issued currency, identification, and travel documents. St. Kitts and Nevis launched its new e-passport in November 2024, becoming the first OECS country to win the H award. Now, the e-passport features a polycarbonate data page, which significantly enhances durability and security by making it resistant to tampering and wear. Additionally, the design intricately blends island-centric elements such as indigenous flora and geographic motifs with cutting-edge security features, ensuring it remains one of the most secure travel documents in the Caribbean. The e-passport was developed and produced by the Canadian Banknote Company Limited, otherwise known as CBN, and is compliant with the global interoperability standards set forth by the International Civil Aviation Organization. The Ottawa-based firm also delivered an advanced passport issuance system, online web services for the public, a border management system, and self-clearance kiosks at the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport. The award comes at a time when St. Kitts and Nevis is strengthening its border security architecture and compliance regime in line with international standards and best practices. Now, for those of you who may want to know more about the features or the new security features offered in this new e-passport, there is a video showcasing the new e-passport, and it is available on the Facebook page of the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service. So you may go there and look at the video and new features that are being offered. But this new passport, as stated here, is in line with international best practices, and as we continue to work towards strengthening documents, our border security, and ensuring that we are in line with international standards, and that is absolutely important. For those of you who have been to RLB since, you would realize that there are self-clearance kiosks at the airport, and you would also find those kiosks at other airports across the region and internationally. And so in some countries now, at the port of entry, you are no longer receiving a physical stamp in your passport. And so we understand that that is going to be something of the past, where ports or countries they're doing away with that. They're moving away from that, where they scan your passport. So not because your passport doesn't have a physical stamp in it, it does not mean that you have not been to the country. Trust me, their immigration and customs enforcement officials, they are going to have that paper trail or biometric trail, whatever you'd want to call it, of you entering the country. So here in St. Kitts and Nevis and other countries, when you go to the airport, you are going to be, or you'll have the option rather to go to the desk if you need further assistance. But in most cases, you would have the when you can have that digital transformation with which offers more security, enhanced border security, and ensuring that there's a shorter turnaround time then that is absolutely necessary and welcome. I mean, the world is moving really fast, and other countries are moving ahead. And so what do we do here in the region? Do we stay behind, or we continue to adapt to the new changes, the new realities? And so this is the new e-passport that has been launched. I just had some follow-up questions that I intend to ask to the Ministry of National Security in terms of how exactly would this work. Would one have to wait until their passport expires and then reapply to get the e-passport, or is it a case where they're going to be phasing out much sooner the older passports, where they're asking people to come in, submit their old passports, and get a new one? I'm not sure the ministry or what direction the ministry would take, but that would be some really useful information if they're going to ask persons to wait until their passports have expired, or if they're going to ask persons to come in and have those passports renewed, exchanged, whatever you want to call it. It is 30 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Caribbean Beach Club transports you to Destination France for White Sands Parisian Soiree, featuring the White Swimsuit Competition. Spitmasters DJ Smudge and DJ Terra out of Circuits and DJ MJ of Dominica, Travis World and Loves out of Trinidad, and Bishop Escobar of Jamaica. Captivating performances by Sugar City's very own Lucas H.E. and David House and Mr. Mention. Appearing for the first time in St. Kitts, Dance All ID's Jamaica. Performing his biggest hits, Jamaican dancehall sensation, and bringing the energy from Trinidad, Miguel Tasia. White Sands will be hosted by top DJ and radio personality Sweet Sister Sensia and Jamaican radio host DJ Spark. Tickets are just $120, paying $150 at the door. For online tickets, visit Carabola-Beach-Club.com. It's a French affair on Sunday, June 29th at Carabola Beach Club for the summer's hottest all-white party, White Sands Parisian Soiree.
Everybody charge up, we going high up, full of energy, energy. Bam 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 bam, music maker, make me some music.
Listen, you hear the song? It's Nostalgia on ZIZ Radio from 1 to 3 in the afternoon on Thursdays. On Nostalgia, everybody has a good voice, so relax and go in the zone with us. Get your songbook, look in the index, find the song that is playing, and sing along. Join ZIZ Radio every Thursday from 1 to 3 for Nostalgia. It's music to soothe you right where it hurts. ZIZ Radio, touching you with variety and style.
Welcome back to The Edge and ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. Still on the local scene, the Joseph and Franz General Hospital is on its road, or continues its journey to accreditation. In its sustained efforts to assist and enable the Joseph and Franz General Hospital offer the best healthcare services and at the same time get international accreditation, the Ministry of Health has enlisted the services of an emergency room specialist, which I understand this is the first time we will be having an emergency room specialist here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, the arrival at the RLB International Airport of the emergency room specialist, Jamaica-based Dr. Jason, I think is Eiffel, recently marked a pivotal moment in the delivery of healthcare services in St. Kitts and Nevis. Given background information, Director of Health Institutions within the Ministry of Health, Dr. Jensen Morton, pointed out that an ER specialist has licensure and legal permission to do some of the life-saving interventions, such as the total weight that somebody might require for any particular intervention is decreased. He added that the emergency room has to be led by a specialist. It is not an emergency medicine specialist, an internist, but now that we have the ER specialist, at least there is someone that we have on staff that we can dedicate to that role. The presence of the emergency room specialist plays a significant role in the international accreditation of any health institution. Indeed, the JNF General Hospital has made arrangements to have the services of 2 emergency room specialists, but so far, only Dr. Jason Eiffel has responded positively. This is in an effort to improve the standard and the delivery of healthcare here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and it is a step in the right direction. Of course, over the years there have been concerns, and naturally so. In any health institution that you would go to, you don't expect a bed of roses and you don't expect all things to work 100%. But what you can appreciate is the time, effort, and expertise that you get from the medical professionals there. They go above and beyond, and they ensure that they do their very best. And so this is a step in the right direction in terms of improving the delivery and the quality of healthcare here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, I want to shift gears a bit on the regional/international scene, but it has a lot to do with us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, where Reuters is reporting that Bahamas is set to cancel contracts with Cuban doctors after talks with Washington. The Bahamas is preparing to cancel contracts with the Cuban healthcare professionals after discussions with the U.S. government, Bahamian Health Minister Michael Darville said in a parliamentary address on Monday. Darville said his ministry would enter into direct employment contracts with Darville said his ministry would enter into direct employment contracts with Cuban healthcare professionals in the Bahamas. Quote, those who are not interested in this new arrangement will be given time to wrap up their affairs and return to Cuba, Darville said. Darville added that the recruitment efforts for Cuban teachers and health workers were also on hold, pending the outcome of discussions with the United States. Cuba's health service generators or Cuban's health service, generates major export earnings by sending doctors and health workers around the world. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has accused officials involved in Cuba's labor export program of being involved in human trafficking and labor exploitation, accusations denied by Cuba and many Caribbean leaders who say the Cuban medical programs are essential and comply with international labor laws. Currently, there are only 35 Cuban healthcare professionals in the Bahamas, most of them engineers, lab technicians, and X-ray technicians, Darville said. The Bahamas faces a shortage of local healthcare professionals, the minister said. Now, imagine you're facing a shortage of local healthcare professionals, but you're seeking to cancel the contract of Cuban-trained professionals or doctors, whatever, for whatever reason, because it says after talks with Washington, it begs the question, what is the reason? I mean, we can speculate what the reason is, but what is the reason? And where do you see yourself 5-10 years down the road with a decision like this? So let's just say Bahamas or any other Caribbean island, a country, is to cut ties with Cuba. Diplomatic ties, everything. Where do you see yourself at least 10 years down the road as it relates to healthcare? Because we know here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Cubans have been good to us. We have, I believe, some 30 years of diplomatic friendship and cooperation with Cuba. And so do you throw all of that away? Mind you, I'm not suggesting that is what is happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis. But because of what I'm seeing here with Bahamas is moving to cancel this or contracts with these Cuban medical professionals, I would like to know what could possibly, or what would be the benefit, what would be the outcome if other Caribbean islands are to move in that direction. I would imagine that it would not be good. Because how do you fill that gap? How do you fill that gap? Think of it something as simple as something that you own, a vehicle or whatever. You know, you sell your vehicle, and before you get the new one, well, you haven't gotten the new one as yet, and so you've sold your vehicle and you have to walk. How do you fill that gap, you know? But on the larger scale, it is a question that Caribbean leaders and even us as citizens must ask ourselves. This is something that we should definitely follow very closely to see what Bahamas is going to do and what direction that they are taking. For me, I don't think it is wise for you to cancel or break up 30 plus years, over 3-4 decades of diplomatic friendship. And we must understand that these things are more far-reaching than we would see on the surface. Having a diplomatic relationship with a country is not just photo ops and conferences and meetings and all of that. We're talking about cooperation between both countries. We're talking about assistance in education, healthcare, agriculture, a number of different areas in our economy. We see things happen here in St. Kitts and Nevis over the years, and we don't necessarily know how they happen. We see things happen here in the region, and we don't necessarily know how they happen. Most of them is because we have received assistance from the countries that we have that diplomatic relationship with. And so do you throw all of that away? For what cost? For what price? At what cost do you throw that away? If you look in the region, and here in St. Kitts and Nevis, a number of our medical professionals were trained in Cuba. A number of them. Going back to 50 years, I would say, even more than that. They stand to be corrected, but a number of our medical professionals were trained in Cuba and across the region. My question remains, do we throw all of that away? Do we put all of that aside? Do we cancel that and say, well, Cuba, it was nice knowing you, goodbye? No. I genuinely believe that it is going to do more harm than good. And the mess that we would have to clean up in the years to come would be devastating. Because again, how do you fill that gap? Of course, we hear our officials encouraging local people to enter the healthcare fraternity or the medical fraternity. In terms of becoming nurses, we need more nurses in St. Kitts and Nevis. We need more doctors and specialist doctors. And so instead of just general practitioners, we need doctors to specialize in certain areas. And the reality is there are some people who are not just heeding the call, answering the call, because that may not be what they would want to do. And that is understandable. But even for those who are venturing into the healthcare field, and because we are a small island developing state, we are going to have to outsource. We are going to have to get doctors from other parts of the world to come here. There's no you can have a cadre of doctors that are all from St. Kitts and Nevis. You're going to have to outsource in some kind of area. But as it relates to our relationship with Cuba, I don't subscribe to cancelling that. For what? And at what cost? We have a caller on the air. We'll take our first call for the morning. Caller, good morning. You're on the program.
Good morning, Devonne. How are you doing?
Good morning. I am doing well. What about you?
Mine, if you're, oh man, I am here giving God thanks for life, you know. Life and health and strength. Today is one of my granddaughter's birthday. Michaela Headley at Caville. So all the members of the association, she joined the St. Kitts Association. She was born down here, but she raised in Barbados. Sometimes I can't understand the thing the girls say. Oh, Jesus, murder, you know the kind of story. Mm-hmm. So anyway, since she gone to Caville, she has joined to find her identity. She had a new vision, roommating. So if you're over there and you hear Michaela, shout up to this Michaela's birthday. Beautiful child.
All right.
Now let's get to the Cuba story. Like Barbados just said, they're not negotiating through the government. All they got to do is send a recruiter down there. You understand? Because like Barbados said, well, they don't stop recruit through the government, because the government just said deduct. Or they have to send a certain percentage to the government. Because there's always a way on everything, you know. You know that?
I'm listening, yeah.
And all of you who plan to go to Cuba go now. And it is up to our governments to find scholarships. And our people, I remember when Mark Brantley was Foreign Affairs Minister. Oh, this person wants offering scholarship. Oh, they want to go so far. I understand that. It don't make sense to me. Oh, I don't want my child to go so far. Thousands of Jamaicans all in China, all over the place. You know that?
Yes.
They live all over. They go, and wherever the scholarship is, you go. And you could start to prepare. All you got to do more must go to Taiwan. Because at least in Nevis, they're learning the language, so they have a head start. Those of you in school the other day, I think Morocco wanted people to speak French. They go to school and they're not taking on any foreign languages. Now let's get to UE. I went to UE. I actually have third generation, you know. I went to UE. I went to Mona. My daughter went to Mona, and then she went to Caville. My two granddaughters who already graduate went to Mona, and I have one in Caville and one doing the program, the nursing program. give more aid. You be not cheap, you know. I mean, and even if you go to development bank, you got 10 years to pay. Give relief if you're serious, because I mean, you will has good education. Because some countries, when you come back from Cuba, you got to go to UE to get accreditation. So that's all I'm saying. Give more aid. Don't you got to take a loan. You go to development bank. The loan they give you can sustain you, you know.
Right.
You know that?
I am fully aware.
You got to go pay rent and help your children buy food. And when they come back and they get a government job, it's just enough to pay development bank. So if they're taking this thing seriously, design a plan to help the students. And some parents got a lot to make the sacrifice. Everybody not going to turn their back on you and the loan. And if you teach your children, you know the right thing. So I am saying, all of you who plan to go to Cuba now, they didn't say you can't send your people, you know. You know that?
Right.
All they say they're not going to contract through the government. So all they have to do, send down the people. So like how there's our recruiters for universities. Send down the people. Or let Cuba open a branch in the country. They can't stop it. So all of you who, I say it again, if you know you can't afford to go anywhere, they have not said stop sending your students. Please go take up a Spanish book. Learn as much as you can to cut down on the time that you'll be in Cuba. And get enough free education. Now everybody time got an end, you know. You know, when you scientists say, know that he have an end.
All right, Carla.
I mean, you see some people come be wicked. When the scientist people come, they're Cubans, you know. You know that, right?
I know, I'm aware.
And the man, oh God, turn around on his own people like that, I tell you. That's why the Bible says put your trust only in God, not in man. You wouldn't expect that. You're going all out. Maybe you tell Trump going to Cuba. I mean, really? You know, they don't give us scholarship. We used to get USAID scholarship before, you know that? Or you heard so?
I'm aware.
Yeah, no, they don't give us. But if you're not giving us every kind of food, we're taking it wherever we get it.
All right, thank you so much for your contribution. We want to take some more calls. We want to take some more calls here on The Edge. It's 11:34. The phone lines remain open at 465. Is it 465? 465 in 1977. I got some licks in it for saying 467, you know. Some serious licks, man. They had me to kill even after I correct myself. I had about 100 calls after telling me it's 465. 465 1977 or 1903 or 662-8674. The phone lines remain open and we're taking your calls. Call and lend your voice to the conversation at hand. If there are no calls on the line, I think we can take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. Stay tuned.
Watch your step there, little man. That party's falling into the sea.
But Daddy, when it all slips into the sea, where will we live?
Well, son, that would take a long time. So let's not worry about that right now. Just enjoy the beach, okay?
Daddy, when Grandpa brought you to the beach, was it slipping in then?
I can't remember, but that shed over there was not so close to the water, so I guess so.
So, Daddy, when I bring my children to the beach, will there even be a beach still? I learned all about climate change in school, and teachers said we have to change our habits or it would be even worse.
So, big man, what do you think we should do?
Really? Who is the daddy here anyway?
Okay. We will ask your teacher where she got her information, and then we'll do our own little part.
Good. because I want to keep coming to the beach with you, even when you're like 100.
Change your heart, change your habit. We the people can change how we approach the impact of climate change. A message of hope from Island Resilience, promoting a climate of change.
This is my land, my island, our home. It's time to come together to keep her forever resilient and strong.
Island Resilience, promoting a climate of change. The Climate Change Adaptation and Sustainable Land Management Initiative of the OECS Commission, funded by the European Union.
Go to islandresilience.org for more information or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining the conversation. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are on Bahamas to cancel contracts with Cuban doctors after talks with Washington. And it says here, according to Reuters, the Bahamas is... We have a caller? Let's take a pin and we'll take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Moderator. Good morning.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm not going into anything at all, but just one simple question. What does the United States have to give us, the poor countries, for replacing the Cuban systems? What do they have? If they have something better, okay, fine. If they do not have anything, leave us alone. It is as simple as that. As the mighty sparrow said, get to hell out of here. Get out of our business. It is ridiculous. This is sheer nonsense I am hearing. Nonsense. I haven't heard of any trained American doctors in the hospital for over the past 40 years, or 30 to 40 years. None. Why before that? How stupid is the talking? What this is nonsense. We must have accepted that. And I thought, better of Bermuda, of Bahamas. I look up to Bahamas as the people who got sent. As I am not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to talk it as I see it.
I mean, you have asked a really hard-hitting question, and I think it's a question that we all need to ask ourselves. But you've asked a really, really good question there.
Mr. Moderator, this is ridiculous. It is really ridiculous. This man is taking this thing too far. It's taking this thing too far. People lives are people lives, and everybody wants to live. But what this man is seeking, what is he seeking to do? He's doing it step by step, edge by edge. No. We Caribbean people, we're looking on. We're looking on. We're listening. And I am saying to him, stop this nonsense. Stop bullying people. They can't do by default. I listen to BBC every night. Drop sleep, sit down in the chair because I want to hear what's going on. So I know what's going on. This man is a madman. They should get rid of this man as quickly as possible. United States people are asking them to wake up. Wake up! You're messing up the world.
Caller, thank you so much for your contribution to the program. We're going to take some more calls. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Yvonne.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm pretty sure by now the government, if not the people, at least the governments realize that the U.S. is not making any joke. Right? And basically, it's Cuba or us. Full stop.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Hello?
There's no way Bahamas can survive without the U.S. And to a lesser extent, the same thing applies for the rest of the region. Okay? And so we can throw sovereignty and all that stuff out the window. Yes, we've had long-standing relations with Cuba and so on, but like I said, if it comes down to the nitty-gritty, what do you do?
Right.
If you can't persuade the U.S. that, listen, man, we've had good relations with these guys, they've helped us a lot. Our health systems at the moment can't function without them. We absolutely need them. If you can't persuade the U.S. to at least soften its line in regards to the specific issue, right, of medical, the doctors. If you can't do that, well, what do? We can't just, unfortunately, we can't just to have the United States. You can. Mm-hmm. Our economies are too intertwined. Mm-hmm. So we can talk all we want about sovereignty and so on. In the final analysis, the U.S. is intent on squeezing Cuba as much as possible. I don't know that this medical missions and so on contribute anything significant to the economy, but it's a way of putting pressure on Cuba and isolation. And you can realize it will come in other. It's going to stop at the medical. But unfortunately, this is one of those instances where we can't do anything, to be quite honest. What can we do? I mean, just think about it. What can we do apart from, I mean, if you're going to say that we're going to continue with that regardless, and the U.S. start to put pressure on us in other areas, which is what they probably would do. What choice do we have? Mm-hmm. Because you can bet your life, that what you spoke about before with the U.S. What they're doing with the other countries, with the list of countries that they're gonna stop. What are they trying to do? Stop visa or be more pressurize the other countries in terms of their visa applications and so on, right?
Yeah, some countries they're going to stop visa issuance and be more stringent with others.
Right. Mm-hmm. That is obviously, to me, even if they're not coming straight out and saying it, just saying that they're considering it is pressure, subtle pressure in itself. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that is how it's not going to be any gun diplomacy anymore, I don't think. But there will be subtle pressure in other ways that they know. And of course, one of the things is the diplomatic relations that we have with them. They are going to make sure that they put pressure on us to do their bidding. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. I don't know what you think. If there's some other way of responding to it, but I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm. So in other words,
one sure thing we can't do is say, well, okay, if the U.S. want to go that route, we're going into the arms of China. Right, because you know that can make it worse. Eh?
So you would say that
I guess we just have to grin and bear it. I guess I don't know.
Right.
It's unfortunate.
So Carla, so you would say diplomatically that we are between a rock and a hard place.
No, I wouldn't even say we're between a rock and a hard place. I mean, we're not. We just cannot afford bad relations with the U.S. We can't. Right? I mean, just think about it.
I say that.
I really want us to be like Cuba and resist U.S. pressure. Nobody, you won't find any citizen in any one of these countries wanting to follow Cuba's path. It ain't going to happen.
But what I'm saying, Carla, I say that because I understand what you're saying in terms of we cannot risk having bad relations with the U.S. But at the same time, do we cancel out 30 plus years of diplomatic friendship with Cuba, considering that they have contributed significantly to the development of our country in the areas of healthcare and education? So that's the rock and the hard place I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, there's no question that we have Cuba. We have benefited from that relationship with Cuba, and the U.S. is not prepared, I think, to come in. They're not even offering to come in and help when we dampen down our relationship with Cuba. You know, but I honestly, I mean, and just like the CBI, the U.S. was not going to give us billions of dollars in aid. So we can fashion our CBI to get that. Yet we have pressure, and they're putting pressure on without telling us, well, how are we going to make up for that shortfall? You know, it's a clear case of, sorry, we're small, we're big, as we say, you're in our hemisphere. However you survive, that's up to you, you know, but you got to do what we say. It's as simple as that.
Right.
You know? Okay.
All right, Carla, thank you so much for your contribution to the program. It's 11:48, and we're taking your calls here on The Edge, 96.1 FM. It's an interesting conversation. We'll head back to the phone lines and take some more calls. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Mr. Moderator, I'm here again. Not because the United States got the lead economically and otherwise. It's like when I was going to school, there was a guy in our class. He had more money than us, more money than me, but he started picking at me. I would ask him, but when you come for me, he will do it. Because he can't have money. It is. When my parents couldn't do that. But then he started to show me fight. And one day I said, no, this is it. I'm not going to take it anymore. And when he came to attack me, I responded. And I responded with force. Put him in his place. And he never did interfere with me again. What I'm saying is we keep on harping that, oh, we can't afford to do without the United States and they're going to destroy us. We show them plain that they got people in our territory. And if they pressure us, we could pressure the people to get back to them. That's simple as that. If they pressure us, we could pressure the people. Get for that. Butter for fat. You kill me dog, I kill you cat. It's as simple as that.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to the program. The caller previously, and generally the calls that we've been getting, the question has been, can small island developing states afford bad relations with the United States? And for me, there are certain things that one must consider. I mean, for the record, I'm not a foreign affairs expert, but from the little that I know, at the top of the list would be economic dependency, where small island developing states depend heavily on the U.S. economy, where the U.S. is a major trading partner, foreign direct investment, and of course the US being one of our source markets for tourism. The US, Europe, Canada, but the US is one of our major source markets for tourism. Tourism is, we could say, our bread and our butter, side by side there with CBI. Then you have us relying on the US for things like debt relief, climate change, resiliency, climate action, and so on. So the truth is, there is a lot that must be examined and looked at carefully in this conversation. We'll take our final call for the morning. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Devon. A pleasant Tuesday morning to you, and continued blessed week.
Same
You
to
see
you,
all
caller.
this, what we're hearing here right now, with the people discussing what's happening, what's going on in the USA, the situations that are coming down. Just a few short months ago, there was a conversation on ZIZ. I think it was on your program, to be exact, where people were talking about the Caribbean countries need to come together. We need to find that common ground between us. There are too many animosity between the islands. There are too many craziness between the islands. We need to start trading with each other. I am listening to I'm listening contentively to what you're saying, and I'm hearing what you're saying. But if we look among ourselves, among the islands, the Caribbean islands, we will find exactly what we find or what we are leeching onto in the USA. Believe me. There's a lot of things that the islands can offer, but because we have found it so convenient to segregate ourselves from each other, we are missing out on a lot of things. If we come together and form that common bond, we won't be struggling. There would not be any need to struggle, and there would not be any need to worry about what any islands out there, the Caribbean, the United States, the European countries, whatever, what they're handing down with their sanctions. I could understand the vacations, but hey, if we vacation between each other also, we'll find beautiful places we can go. We don't have to go to U.S. islands. There's a lot of islands around here that you could visit for vacation and have a good time. The problem with us as humans, when we hear people say, oh, well, Devon, when they're there, why you say you had a good time? I have to go. But then you could go to Nevis and have a good time in Nevis. You could go to Anguilla and have a good time in Anguilla. We need to bond. I'm so sorry about that noise. We need to bond, and this is the time for bonding. Otherwise, we're going to lose out on everything because we're going to focus on the things we're not supposed to be focusing on, and we're going to miss the things that we should be focusing on. Devon, have a pleasant day. Continue to do the good job that you're doing. Take care, dear. Bye-bye.
All right, you too, and thank you so much for your contribution to the program. And we'll stop there with the calls. We have just about 5 minutes left. But what you've just said, caller, is what I've been saying. We had a conversation here last year about regional integration, and the pushback was real. You know, our people were majority of the persons who called in were not in favor of regional integration. So we're not in favor of regional integration, but we hear barling we're going on with the United States and how the United States looking to squeeze small island developing states. But this is a lot deeper, because our belief, we have this belief that everything in the West is better. Everything in the US is better. And it goes back to slavery, where Africans were taught that Europe and America and those places are civilized. And what Africans are doing are backward and inferior and nonsense and so on. And so it has become a part of our mindset. That is something that I believe should be introduced into the conversation. I'm just laying all of the cards on the table for us to really look at and consider. It's not something that one must jump into with haste. But at the top of the list, when you're looking at SIDS And we are called SIDS for a reason. Small Island Developing States. We are small and we are still developing. There are things that we have in our countries that we simply cannot make. We do not have the human resource or the financial power to produce them. And so we are naturally going to have to rely on other countries. It is a lot more than you going to New York to visit family, or going to Atlanta, or going to Miami Carnival. It is a lot more than that. A lot more than that. You've been listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. Until next time, you guys stay safe and continue to enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Coming up now is our midday newscast.